Chair now recognizes Ms. Crockett from Texas for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The irony of today's hearings isn't lost on me. A key talking point of my Republican colleagues has always been heavy deregulation and significantly less oversight of banks without proper safeguards in place. It seems, however, that my Republican colleagues have now seen the light, and I'm excited about this. Nevertheless, today's hearing lets us have an important and necessary conversation on oversight and the role of regional and small banks in our communities. Arguably, the most important responsibility of the Fed is the ensuring of the financial stability of our banks and upholding consumer confidence in the system. When SVB crashed, it left customers at our banks worried about their money. Herein lies the problem. Failing to oversee the actions of one bank led to an avalanche of people wanting to pull their money out of other banks. What is the result? A catastrophic effect on small and regional banks. Many people don't think about small regional banks like Comerica and Amegy in my district and the vital role they play in our communities. These banks provide locally informed investments that enable small businesses and startups to thrive in a challenging economy. Amegy, for example, has 2,764 small business customers in the Dallas area alone. They provide loans and services to groups that have been historically overlooked. For instance, Comerica provided a $1 million investment in the Dallas Small Business Diversity Fund that supports women and minority-owned businesses in Dallas County. Blaming SVB's collapse on environmental, social, governance, investing, or diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives is nonsense. To quote experts from Harvard Business School, not exactly a liberal bastion, blaming ESG of DEI or SVB's failure reflects either, quote, a complete lack of understanding of how banks work or the intentional misattribution of the cause of the bank's failure. My Republican colleagues' continued focus on wokeness in banking also suggests that they see improving economic opportunities for people of color and investing in minority-owned businesses as a bad thing, and that's truly a shame. I asked unanimous consent to introduce a New York Times article titled, "No Wokeness Did Not Cause Silicon Valley Bank's Collapse," and with that.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. Now, I'd like to ask, small businesses and everyday folk need to trust that their local bank is making smart investment choices that are in their business interest. So when something like SVB happens, even if it is a different bank entity, and even if it is in a different state, that has enormous ripple effects. And to be honest, the first thing that I did the next day, the next business day after the collapse, was check to see what the numbers look like for the banks in my area because I have a large banking industry. In fact, the regional Fed is located in my district in Dallas County. And guess what? I saw a 25% drop in the stock of Comerica alone that first Monday when they opened, even though they had nothing to do with SVB. So, with that, Ms. Judge, how can the Fed work to restore and build up consumer confidence in regional and small banks, given the reputational damage they have received from SVB?
I think it's one of the most important things that they should be focused on. One of the things that's actually been really comforting is that community banks, those with less than $10 billion in assets, have come through remarkably well. New research from the New York Fed shows that they really haven't lost any deposits, despite the interest rate and despite the recent fears. For regional banks, I think it has to mean appropriate regulation. I think we didn't just have one regional bank fail. We had 4 regional bank fails. 3 of them failed in ways that resulted in significant losses to Deposit Insurance Fund. 2 required the systemic risk exception. So I think knowing that they are appropriately regulated is the key first step to rebuilding that trust.
Thank you so much. Now, the final part of this is where I'm gonna get a little spicy here. I can't help but to sit here and be frustrated because we are saying that we're concerned about SVB and what banks are doing and what they're not doing, but the big elephant in the room is the fact that we have this debt ceiling issue that is looming over our heads right now. And somehow, Democrats, I wasn't here, but what I hear happened when Trump was president is that Democrats agreed to raise the debt ceiling 3 times under his leadership, 3 times. In my mind, I feel like that may be a record number of times. I am curious to know how is it, if it will, affect banking if we fail to pass a clean debt ceiling limit? Are we concerned that banks may end up failing if we fail to do our jobs in Congress? Anybody? It's because I ran it. Nobody went. Okay, I'm gonna just tell y'all the answer. The answer is yes. And so we need to focus on our work here in Congress. Right now, we need to pass a clean debt ceiling if we really care about the stability of banking in this country and Americans. Thank you so much for being here.